Bridge Bookshop, a general bookstore in Western New York State. I'm here to interview Kristen McLean from ABC, American Booksellers for Children. And I would like to say for our store and many stores that I've talked with, children's books represent at least 25% of our sales, way less than 25% of our returns, so we regard them as a very special profit center. Kristen is a designer, freelance writer, and children's book ringleader who lives in Miami, Florida. She is also the executive director of the Association of Booksellers for Children, ABC, the nonprofit trade association that represents independent children's bookstores to the publishing industry. At various points in her career, Kristen has been a children's marketing manager in a big publishing house, a toy and book sales rep, a buyer for an independent toy store, a wild animal handler, and a voracious childhood reader. Her biggest interests in the current publishing climate are the changing definition of reading and the evolution of consumer behavior. She's been the executive director of ABC for 4.5 years. She's doing a fabulous job, I can say, as a member. And at this point, ABC has about 260 members, roughly half are children's only. At its membership peak, ABC had 600 children's only stores in the U.S. At the same time, ABA had roughly 6,000 stores. So, Kristen, we've talked about the upward trend in children's book selling. So tell us about them and how you see that relating to independent bookstores.
Well, I think, no one is going to argue right now that children's books are a bright spot in the industry. We've seen, with the exception of 2008, we've seen year-over-year growth every year since 2002. And in fact, this year, children's books, hardcover book sales are up 11.3% in a year when we're happy with flat sales in other categories. So I think that there's a couple of things that are important to understand about this. The first is that old saw about children's books and toys being recession-proof is pretty true. I think families are less reluctant to cut back on things for their children at a time when they are happy to cut back on things for themselves. 2008 was the only year where we saw a decline in children's books in the last decade, and even in that year, children's paperback sales were up. So I think that what we saw in 2008 were hardcover sales being replaced by paperback sales, but that parents are really still investing in children's books. And I think you mentioned this to me earlier, Pat, that children's books are seen by parents as a great value, a really affordable way to invest in their children's future. And
plus they're beautiful.
Yes.
The production values in children's books are really, really high.
It's true. We were talking about Jerry Pinkney's new line in the Mouse. I don't know if anyone's seen that. It's absolutely spectacular and be completely at home on a coffee table as well as a children's bookshelf. So I think that the other reason why children's books are a great investment right now is that with all of the churn that we have going on right now about technology and shifting business models, children's books are going to be stable as a technology for a lot longer than other forms of our media. That's not to say that they're going to be completely stable, because I was just talking to Scroll Motion, which is an app developer for Apple, and they're about to roll out their first app for children's books for the iPod. What I thought was interesting about this.
Tell us what you mean by that. So what will happen?
Well, I haven't seen it, and since they haven't released it yet, I'm not entirely sure of the details, but they're working with publishers to create a platform where parents and children will be able to look at picture book, I don't know if it will be individual pages or what will it be exactly, but on iPods, which have color screens unlike the Kindle and other kinds of e-readers. So
it's like a teaser.
Well, I don't know. I think it's actually going to be what I find encouraging about this anecdotal story is that early testing, early consumer information is showing them that parents who are interested in this product are going to be using it to replace video games as opposed to replacing books. That they're really interested in this, if they're in transit in an airport or something and they need to keep their kids busy, that they really would love to be able to show them a book as opposed to have them sit there and play a video game, which I think is really encouraging from a bookseller point of view, because that's really building literacy. And it also is underlining this idea that parents are not interested in giving up books. This is just an addition to a literacy behavior at home. So,
in our last meeting, talk a little bit about literacy trends that you see, kids reading more, less, in between.
Sure. I'm really encouraged about the future of reading, I have to tell you. There's a study that Cambridge University did in 2005 in the UK, where they looked at thousands of exams that were sat by 16-year-olds from 1984 to today, and they found that today's teens are like light years more literate than their pre-electronic counterparts, and that they're not only are they reading and comprehending better, but they're using language better, they're more fluid. And I think that the emerging reader of tomorrow is going to be incredibly literate, and that's fantastic for us. And I think that technology is going to be an important part, is an important part of building that literacy. So I think the question for us as booksellers is, how do we fit into that picture, really? Because the readers are going to be there.
We need to embrace the technology and make it work for us. I have no idea. But thank you.
Thank you very much.